Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. A. Thirumani Devi, Associate Professor in the Department of Food Science and Nutrition, Avinashalingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Today we are going to see about computation of recommended dietary allowance for energy and macronutrients. Human body needs a wide range of nutrients to lead a healthy and active life. The required nutrients for different physiological groups can be derived from well-balanced diet. For designing the well-balanced diet, components of diet must be chosen judiciously to provide all the nutrients to meet the human requirements in correct proportion for different physiological activities. The amount of each nutrient needed for an individual depends upon his or her age, sex, body weight, physiological status. Adults need nutrients for maintenance of constant body weight and for ensuring proper body functions. Infants and young children grow rapidly and require nutrients not only for maintenance but also for growth. They require relatively more nutrient 2 to 3 times per kilogram of body weight than adult. In physiological conditions like pregnancy and lactation, adult woman needs additional nutrients to meet the demand for fetal growth and maternal tissue expansion in pregnancy and milk secretion during lactation. The physical activities also considered to design the balanced diet. Various national and international committees have been recommended allowance for different nutrients for different age groups. After studying this module, the students are able to understand the following objectives. Number 1, general principle for deriving human nutrient requirements. Definitions of dietary reference intake, energy requirement and assessment of energy requirement. Other consideration in computing energy requirement and intake, protein and fat requirements. The general principles for deriving human nutrient requirements. A number of methods have been employed over the year to arrive at the requirement of different nutrients of an individual for different physiological groups, and some of these methods are being improved with time. The general principles underlying these methods are: number 1, dietary intake. This approach is used to arrive at energy requirement of the children. Energy intake of normal growing healthy children are used for this purpose. Currently it is not in use as it is considered to overestimate the requirement and not yield correct pictures. Second one, growth. The daily intake of breast milk and its nutrient content are utilized to define the nutrient requirement during early infancy, that is 0 to 1 year. This approach is also no longer in use as it is considered to overestimate the requirement during early infancy. However, the mode of satisfying the requirement of nutrient in early infancy up to 6 months is only through breast milk intake. The next one is nutrient balance. The minimum intake of nutrient for equilibrium, that is, intake is equal to output in adults and nutrient retention consistent with a satisfactory growth in infants and children. For satisfactory maternal and fetal growth during pregnancy, satisfactory output of breast milk during lactation have been used widely in arriving at the protein requirements. Obligatory loss of a nutrient. The minimum loss of any nutrient or its metabolic product like nitrogenous end product of protein through normal route of elimination via urine, feces and sweat is considered on a diet divided of or very low in nutrient under study via protein free diet. These values are used to determine the amount of nutrient to be consumed daily through the diet to replace the obligatory loss of nutrient, and it represents the maintenance needs of an individual. Example, adult. In infants and children, growth requirements are added to this maintenance requirement. This approach has been widely used in assessing the protein requirement. Other losses of nitrogen through sweat, hair, etc. are not considered in this method. Next method is factorial approach. In this approach, the nutrients required for different functions are assessed separately and added upon to arrive at the total daily requirement. This has been the basis of computing energy requirement, that is sleep plus rest plus occupational activity and non-occupational activities. This approach was being used earlier for assessing protein requirement also. Now we will see nutrient requirement and recommended dietary allowance, that is RDA. First, the definition of dietary reference intake are given in terms of number 1, recommended dietary allowance. The average daily dietary nutrient intake level sufficient to meet the 97 to 98% of nutrient requirement of the healthy individual in a particular life stage and gender group. Second one, adequate intake. Recommended average daily intake level based on observed or experimentally determined approximation or estimate the nutrient intake of a group or groups of a healthy people that are assumed to be adequate and used when RDA cannot be determined. In Indian context, this is referred as an acceptable intake. The RDA is derived from number 1, individual variability, second one, the nutrient bioavailability from habitual diet, and third one is reference body weight. Now we will see the first one, the individual variability. Definition of RDA takes into account the variability that exists in the requirement of a given nutrient between the individual in a given group of population. The distribution of nutrient requirement in a population group is considered normal and the RDA corresponds to the requirement which covers most of the individual, that is 97.5% in a given population. The second one, bioavailability. Bioavailability of a given nutrient from a diet, that is the replace of nutrient from the food, its absorption in the intestine and bioresponse have to be taken into account. It is the level of nutrient that should be present in the diet to meet the requirement. This bioavailability factor is quite important in case of calcium and protein and trace elements like iron and zinc. The next one, reference body weight. Age, gender and body weight largely determine the nutrient requirement of an individual. Body weight and height of the children reflect the state of health, nutrition and growth rate, while weight and height of an adult represent what an individual with normal growth can attain. The purpose of recommending nutrient requirement is to help in attaining these anthropometric reference standards. International organizations like WHO have proposed reference standards applicable at international level. On the other hand, in developing countries where most of the people are affected by poverty and dietary constraint, meeting the nutrient requirement becomes a challenge. Each country has to set up its own reference standard since height and weight of their population may be genetically determined requirement. The body needs energy for maintaining body temperature and metabolic activity and for supporting physical work and growth. The energy allowance recommended are designed to provide enough energy to promote satisfactory growth in infants and children and to maintain constant appropriate body weight and good health in adult. The factors which influence energy needs are age, body size, physical activity and to some extent climate and altered physiological status such as pregnancy and lactation. To maintain energy balance, the input must be equal to output, which corresponds to a steady state. The logical extension of this concept is that if the body weight and the level of physical activity of an individual are known or defined, then the energy balance can be achieved at a single level of intake. The additional needs of the individual, says pregnancy and lactation, will be taken into care by specific additional intake. This level of intake of an individual at which he or she remains in a steady state or in energy balance, maintaining predetermined level of body weight and physical activity, is considered to be the individual's energy requirement. This definition of individual's energy requirement can then be extended to spell out the energy needs of the group or a community or a nation, provided that the composition of the community, age, gender, body weight and habitual pattern of physical activity are known. Next aspect, assessment of energy requirement. Currently, it is recommended that energy requirement must be assessed in terms of energy expenditure rather than in terms of energy intake. The importance of using energy expenditure to arrive at an estimate of energy requirement cannot be overemphasized. An analysis of energy intake data is not helpful since it is possible to have a grossly inadequate intake by individuals who, in phase of maintaining normal obligatory energy expenditure, responds by weight loss so that they become substantially underweight. The recommended dietary intake of energy is intended for a healthy, well-nourished and active population. The assessment of energy expenditure is therefore a more logical approach where one can specify the energy requirement in terms of energy output for a productive work and leisure activity of the adult, and tissue deposition in infants, children and during pregnancy, and milk secretion during lactation. Energy requirement for Indians. Energy allowance for Indians recommended in 1958 suffer from the following limitation, which indicate that the in 1958 figures for energy requirement of an Indians are possibly an overestimate, particularly in case of heavy activity category. The estimate of energy expenditure during non-occupational activity appears to be rather high due to use of higher values of some of the non-occupational activity. No distinction has been made in respect between sedentary individual on one hand and moderate and heavy activity category on the other. The latter category would normally spend less energy during non-occupational activity period rather than sedentary person. The next one, the energy expenditure for occupational activity involving heavy work appears to be an overestimation. This is because the average energy cost of heavy activity used in computation of energy expenditure, that is 5 kilocalorie per kilogram of body weight per hour, corresponds to the upper limit of a rate of energy expenditure rather than to the practical level of average rate of energy expenditure. The physical activity ratio PAR is expressed as the ratio of energy cost of an individual activity per minute to the cost of the basal metabolic rate, that is BMR per minute. The energy cost of an activity per minute, that is physical activity ratio, is equal to energy cost of basal metabolism per minute. The BAR is unitless, and the decided advantages of expressing energy expenditure in terms of BAR value is quite obvious. BAR values for activities performed in a day can be aggregated over that period to yield the physical activity level, which is the ratio of energy expenditure for 24 hours and the BMR over 24 hours. For an example, a person spending 8 hours in sleep with PAR 1, 8 hours in domestic and leisure activity with an average PAR 2 and 8 hours at work with PAR of 3 would have total PAR hours of 48. So, the PAL for the day is total PAR hours is divided by total time, that is 48 divided by 24 equal to 2. A large proportion of daily energy expenditure is accounted for by basal metabolism. The next one, a detailed table of PAR values for different activities available in FAO, WHO, UNU 2004 report. The average expenditure for specific task when expressed as the ratio of BMR as PAR value is similar in men and women and individual with different body weight and ages. There are more extensive data on BMR of different population group than on energy cost of activity and intake. Number 1, source of energy in Indian diet. The main source of energy in Indian diets, which are predominantly plant food based, are carbohydrates, fat and protein. The recent scientific update considers the unhealthy role of simple sugar and recommends less than 10% of total energy, while recommending a wide range of carbohydrate, that is 55 to 75% intake from whole grains, legumes, vegetables and fruits. Dietary fiber, which form an indigestible and important component of plant foods, were never considered as the source of energy. But these dietary fiber, some of which are soluble and some are insoluble, undergo fermentation in colon and yield short chain fatty acid such as butyric, propionic and acetic acid, which are utilized as a source of energy by the colon cell and by liver. Hence, they are known to yield energy 2.6 kilocalorie per gram from fermentable food and no energy from non-fermentable fiber. In conventional food, 70% of fiber are fermentable. In general, foods energy conversion factor for fiber is taken as 2 kilocalorie per kilogram. There is a need to recalculate energy field of various food on the basis of revised content of carbohydrates, protein, fat and dietary fiber. Now we will see about protein requirement. Dietary protein should supply 8 essential amino acids in proper proportion and adequate quantity to synthesize tissue protein in the body. The other 12 amino acids present in the dietary protein, though required for protein synthesis, are not considered essential since the body can synthesize them from other carbon and nitrogen sources. Since most of the body nitrogen requirements are met by protein and nitrogen requirements are used interchangeably. The human protein requirements are determined by several methods such as nitrogen balance, obligatory nitrogen loss and adjustment for efficacy of protein utilization. Currently, greater reliance is placed on nitrogen balance method, which reflects the physiological condition of the subject and provides true estimation of protein requirement of the body at different age. The 1985 and 2007 recommendation of FAO, WHO, UNU consultation are based largely on nitrogen balance method. The protein quality and protein requirement. An important factor in establishing human protein requirement on habitual diet is the quality of habitual dietary protein in terms of their essential amino acid content. The efficacy of utilization of dietary protein depends upon its digestibility, absorption of the released amino acid. Indian diet deriving their protein from cereals and pulses combination have a biological value of only 65% relative to egg protein. Currently, instead of egg protein as the standard human essential amino acid requirement determined directly by newer or more accurate method gives a set of values for requirement that are higher than those determined by earlier nitrogen balance method. Protein energy ratio. The protein energy interrelationship, the protein utilization and deposition are dependent on intake of adequate energy. Adequate non-protein energy from carbohydrate and fat is essential for dietary amino acid to be utilized for protein synthesis and for amino acid related function in the body. If adequate dietary energy is not available, dietary protein is inefficiently utilized. Therefore, it is useful to consider together the protein and energy requirement on habitual Indian diet. The protein requirement of different age group can be expressed as the ratio of protein energy to dietary energy requirement. This energy protein ratio will differ for different ages and also between Indian adults engaged in different activities. The important issue to consider is the way of protein energy ratio changes with energy intake. Since protein requirement is constant at different level of activity, but the energy requirement changes. The protein energy ratio also changes, becoming higher with reducing energy requirement as in sedentary people. This is important since the required level of protein in the food will then depend on the activity level. In addition, protein energy ratio only indicates the total amount of protein in the diet. It provides energy and essential fatty acids serve as a vehicle for fat soluble vitamins and facilitate their absorption. Since fat provides high energy value, that is 9 kilocalorie per gram as compared to carbohydrate or protein 4 kilocalorie per gram. The fat content of the diet contributes significantly to its calorific density. Dietary fat consists of heterogeneous mixture of triglycerides and a small proportion of phospholipids, glycolipids, monoglycerol, diglycerol and unsaponified fraction of composed of fat soluble chemicals collectively known as non-glyceride compounds. Several other nutritional and hormonal factors can influence the metabolism of linoleic acid and alpha-linoleic acid to their respective LC pupas. In the body, fatty acids used for generation of cellular energy and biosynthesis of membrane lipids and lipid mediators are essential in the development of central nervous system, modulate lipoprotein metabolism and risk for diet-related non-communicable disease, namely coronary heart disease, diabetic and cancer. Now we will see the recommendation of FAO and WHO on dietary fat. The World Health Organization and Food and Agricultural Organization have been updating international recommendation on fat in human health. Recommendation of the first expert consultants took into account then the available information on the functions of fat in food, sources of energy, essential fatty acid, vehicle for fat soluble vitamin, cell structure, membrane function and control of serum total cholesterol and sedative aspect. Second expert consultant set the following recommendation after reviewing the many crucial and varied role played by the different types and levels of dietary fats and oil in human nutrition and health. Number 1, requirements of fats and oil for adult were set between 15 to 30% energy, that is 35% energy for active individual who are in energy balance, at least 20% for women in reproductive age, and 30 to 40% energy for children up to 2 years. Infants should be breastfed. Formula milk given to infants should mimic the fatty acid composition of human milk with respect to all essential fatty acid. Let us summarize this module by having the designing of balanced diet by including macro and micronutrients. Macronutrients are totally involved in meeting the physiological activities of the body in terms of production of energy to meet physical and mental activities, proper growth and development, and also to replace the worn out cell. Apart from these two physical activities, it also essential to maintain the health status of an individual by protecting our body from illness. So designing balanced diet is comfortable when we are going to follow some of the criteria in our mind. Like that, we are considering age, sex, physical activities and physiological condition. For example, in early stage of life cycle, the nutritional requirements are comparatively high to meet the rapid growth and development, whereas in adult, it is essential to maintain the normal status. Apart from that one, also helps to ensure the physical activities of the body. Another example, considering the physiological condition in terms of pregnancy and lactation. During pregnancy, the maternal body is totally internally responsible for the growth and development of the fetus. During lactation, the maternal body is externally responsible to meet the requirement of the newborn baby or the infant. To have these things in possible manner, it is advisable to have appropriate nutrient, that too in correct proportion, help us to maintain the normal healthy condition and to lead active life.